Hey, welcome to LimbSaver. I'm Gary Sims. Today I'm going to show you our new fall-away full capture L rest, the PT100. Now, this is a pretty cool rest. You're going to love how this thing goes. First thing you're going to do is you're going to get it out of the box. You're going to pour these parts out, and you're going to assemble this rest. Oh, and don't lose that little teeny bearing in here, and this spring are very important because you got to be able to bend this spring like this. No, I'm just joshing you, man. It comes already pre-assembled, tension and everything already done. So it's a pretty simple rest to put together, and we're going to go through that, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, before we get started, there are a couple tools you're going to need to install this PT100 rest. One of the things you're going to need is an Allen wrench set. Hopefully you have one, most everybody does, and a tape measure. And then what's critical, if you're over 50, you got to have these. Because if you don't have these, it's really hard to get anything done. So if you're over 50, you guys understand what I'm talking about. You gotta have a pair of these. All right, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna mount this rest to the riser. And to do that, we're gonna take the rest. I already got the screw started. And I want this square. I don't want it like this, and I don't want it like this. I want to square that up the best I can. Now you can go back a little bit. But the trick with that is, I want to make sure that my rest is hitting, so I want at least 1/4 inch of my arm onto the riser. So about right there. Square this up. Put a little wrench in there, get it semi-tight. Look at that, that's square. Tighten her down, okay? Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust our up and down, left and right. Okay, and to do that, we are going to loosen this. Okay, and we're gonna loosen this guy. Okay, and what that does, this lets this slide up and down, and this slides it left and right. Here's the beauty of this. We're going to set this up. We're going to do this all by hand. I don't need the wrench to tighten it. See, I can get this tight enough by hand to set my side to side, my up and down. So I'm going to come over here now, and I'm going to put an arrow in. Backwards bow, it's right-handed. I'm left-handed. So I'm going to drop my rest down, knock my arrow. Gonna come to all the way up. What I do is I just hold that arm all the way up, and I'm gonna look at this and go, well, I'm too low. So I'm gonna come over here, raise that up till that center of my holes in my risers where I like it. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna take my finger, tighten that. Then I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna tighten that down. The beauty of this tightening this down is you can't over tighten these with these no-mar blocks. There's a little block behind the screw head. Like in the old rest I have, I'll over tighten it and I'll cause a groove in there. I actually drive that screw head into there, so when I go to move my rest a little bit, it always falls back in that same hole. Well, we have that block there, and for left and right, which really helps out for a guy like me that over tightens everything. Now I'm gonna do my left and right. And to do that, I'm gonna loosen this up. Gonna stand back and look at my bow and go, man, that's way outside. Boy, that's way inside. So I'm going to bring it right to where it looks pretty centered to my string. This is just to get it close to set the rest up. That looks pretty good. I'm going to tighten this up. Tight. All right. Now, tape measure comes into play. I've already put this in a press and got my string in here. I want to be at least 3 inches down to start. Now some bows, because of serving, might be clear down here. It doesn't really matter if you're here or you're up here, but you want to be below the arm. You know, but so I like to say 2 to 3 inches to start with. I like mine about 3 inches from the top of the rest to where my cable goes in, my arm cable, okay, my spring cable. So, but if it's down here, that's fine, doesn't matter. Now what I want to do is take this tape measure and I want 2 inches of tension with this rest down. Okay, in the down position. I can take my arrow off now. I don't need that there anymore. So if I go here, this is just a rough estimation. I pull on here and I go to here. Whoa, I got almost 4 inches. I got to take some slack out. So I'm going to grab here, pull this in, down position. Remember that. That's important. And then I'm going to take my tape, about 2 1/4. I'm going to go a little more. Right there. So from here to there, 2 inches. That's going to give me approximately 3 inches of travel before this rest starts to fall out of the way. And I find that pretty optimum at 3 inches for a broadhead field point to touch. That's where I like mine. Now on your higher speed bows, 75 pounds to 80 pounds, you might want to drop off a little sooner, but that's okay. I got this set, I served it all in. Now I'm gonna say, well, you know what? I might shoot a little faster bow. So then what I'm gonna do there, I'm gonna come over here, and on this arm, there's these Allen screws. I'm gonna loosen these up. Not super loose, I'm just gonna back that off a little bit, back that off a little bit. I don't want it so my arm, spring arm falls, but I want it so that I can move it. See how I moved it? So, if I go forward, a little more lockup time. Because see how I shortened this up? This is now probably 1.5. Or I go back. Ideally, I like it 90 degrees is about 3 inches, but you still want to measure. So, or 2 inches. So I come back a little bit. About 2 inches. But on a faster bow, I might want to drop out 2.5 to 3 inches. So I'll hold that arm down with my finger. I'll pull this spring back. Now, as you can see, I'm shortening this distance. Okay, the more I do this, the more I move that arm, the longer this becomes. Now my lockup time has increased, or shortened, I mean. So it's gonna fall sooner. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my 2-inch mark. That just shows you how, actually I didn't need to move that cable, I blew that. Okay, so I want 2 inches, so basically 90 degrees. I'm gonna check this again. About 2 inches, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these down. And we're set, we're ready to go shoot. Now, something I wanna show you guys. When you come to full draw, the spring gives. See? See how that spring's bending? And the reason we did that is because if you watch this lower cam, when I pull this cable forward, just that little bit, see how it moved my cam? My cam's moving? That's pulling my cam out of time. I don't want my cam out of time. I want my cam to stay in time. So rather than pulling on my cable really hard for my lockup position, I let the spring take that slack, so when I draw, the spring gives, doesn't pull on my cable, which keeps my bottom cam in time. That's a really cool feature. You know, also we have the full captured arm, which is, you can take off with 2 screws here. I can take that off if you don't want full capture. I'm not a full captured guy. I have nothing against them, but I don't need them. I don't use them because out where I hunt out west, I just don't want a full capture. So, and the other thing I like about this, because the reason I don't need a full capture is on this rest, I'll show you something that's really cool about this whole arm. It's almost a full capture in itself because I can put this on my rest, put it in that position, take this off of here. Now watch. I'll go this way. I want to put my bow in my lap. Go ahead. Put your bow in your lap. All the way to almost a 45 degrees. There, the arrow finally fell off. You see, so I got quite a bit. So I'm really not worried about the full capture. You know, some guys say, well, they like them if they're chasing. That's to each his own. I really don't run. My mom said don't run with a sharp stick, so I don't do that. So, but it is a full captured with the ability to remove that captured arm. Okay, now we're going to shoot this rest. And I want to show you guys a little trick that we use. I go to the store and you buy that dry foot powder. And what I do is I want to make sure I'm not getting any vane collision. And the beauty of this rest is with that spring arm. When that spring bends, when you release the bow, that spring inertia going forward stops this arm from jumping. But sometimes an arm will jump and cause vane collision. But what I do to test that, I take a little foot powder and I spray the arrow till it's just a little dusty on it. Now, I can knock this arrow. Now we got the right bow because we have a left-handed bow, which is cool. This is another Proton. But I can, I'll put my arrow onto the knock, bring it up. Now I'm going to show you a cool feature. I lock it up. I'm sitting in my tree stand. The beauty, the other thing I like about this rest is I can come to full draw. Big buck, big buck. Oh, wait. It ain't as big as I thought. I can let down and the rest stays up. Okay, it's only going to fall when I release the string. Now, we'll go ahead and take a shot here. Looking at this, I can see that I need to turn my arrow a little bit. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot this arrow with that powder on it. Now you'll see a little powder fly off. Okay, see that little dust there? It's okay. Now, I'm going to go down and get my arrow, which basically is sitting in that bullseye. That's pretty cool. And now I'm looking at my arrow. I'm going to see if I had any vein collision. Some guys, you know, sit there, bow up if I'm off left or right, up and down, and hitting on my rest. I come over here and I look at my arrow, no vein collision. Now, how would I know there's vein collision? Because if this had touched the vein in any way, see that? It would have made a mark. It would have cleaned it off. That's where that powder works so good. So I know I absolutely have no contact of my vein touching any part of my rest. That's critical. So it's just a little trick. Go to Walmart, get your foot powder. Now, we'll do one more shot here since I haven't shot all day. I'm going to shoot a lighted knock. Because what I like about lighted knocks, whether you hunt with them or not, they tell you, you can see your knock if you're out of tune or up and down or your arrow's not flying good. A lighted knock helps me see if I'm dogtailing or going up and down. And if it flies straight, you'll see it. And if it's flying out of whack, you'll see it in that lighted knock. That thing flew like a dart. Okay, I saw no left or right, no up and down. This thing's ready to go hunt or to go shoot. Just a little tip I thought I'd show you guys. You're gonna love this rest. Like I said, the spring bending here stops that rest from doing this. You know, a lot of rests you're shooting, if you look at high speed, which we have here, it'll go like this. It can touch your arrow. Ours doesn't do that, but just in case, you're still good to see if you have vein collision. All right, boys, see you in the field.